I'm going to stall a little bit so that everybody can get logged on. I'm so sorry we tried to do a YouTube live video this morning, and it started streaming, but then it started like breaking every 2 seconds. So I'm not sure what's up with the streaming software. It's a brand new software. I tried to do some tests yesterday, and it seemed to be working. So we'll continue to kind of figure that out. I know that I've gotten a couple of comments about not being able to actually stream YouTube or Facebook Live on their televisions. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and load every single one of these videos onto YouTube after they're done. So we'll download them and put them there. So that way, if you guys do want to stream them from YouTube, you can. For some reason, though, the new live software that they have is it's not user friendly, and I'm very, very sorry that it didn't work out for us today. I might have too slow of a computer. I don't know. It said issues with streaming. So we'll continue to try to work that out. Thank you, though, for joining us on Facebook. I hope it's not too much of an inconvenience. But while we wait for everyone to get logged in, I just sent out an email. It's a little bit late about the change and where we're hosting this. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of time to log in. So we'll go over all the materials. And then hopefully by then we'll get everyone that we need to, or that wants to join us today to get logged in. So for this painting, we're going to do the galaxy one here. Now this is a very simple, fun painting. I do it with all ages. It's a very popular one for the teens. And they tend to come out very, very different. But it's really awesome because all galaxies have different colors and they have different shapes. And so I'm going to show you guys these really fun techniques. And I would love to urge you guys to really make these your own. If we look over here, we have several colors. So we have a lot of black. So you'll make sure that you get a lot of black on that palette. And then I've got some blue in here. I have some purple, a couple dots of red and some yellow. Now keep in mind, purple is a secondary color. So your standard paint set probably doesn't come with it. And I actually make all my own purples. So this purple here, you can see it used to say ultramarine blue, but as we can see, it's definitely purple. So I'll show you guys how I make my purple. I just basically, so here's all of our primaries. We're going to stick to primary colors all week just because it's very difficult to go out and buy paint right now. And I know most standard paint sets have these base colors. We did do a video earlier about how to make paints with flowers. So if you guys have some food coloring, the issue with that is the black. I mean, if we're going to take it old school, I've even had my students do this before, where you can actually use, like back in the Renaissance days, and even today, actually, all pigment it's taken from natural resources. So if you guys have like coal and you wanted to break up that coal into the flower, you can get black that way. A little extreme, but you know, we're kind of in extreme times. And then aside from that, you know, all your basic food colors kind of would fit onto this palette if you don't have paint. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to make purple. Okay, so we're going to take up a little bit of red. All right, so we got a little bit of red and a little bit of blue. And just a little color theory for you guys. If you mix all 3 primary colors, you're going to get brown. So with that being said, you want to think about whatever colors complement is going to be the color that causes it to go brown. So for example, that was kind of confusing. So if we have red and blue and we mix those together to get purple, which primary color is left? We have yellow, right? So whatever color, whatever primary color is not being used to make that secondary color, that color is going to be its complementary color. And if you mix a complementary color with its secondary color, then you're going to get brown. So whenever we're kind of doing these blendings, you want to just try to keep those complementary colors away from that secondary color. So I'll go over them really quickly, and don't worry, if you guys just follow along with me, you won't get any brown kind of happening when we're doing this blending. But it's just kind of fun to know, right? So that you can, in the future, avoid that color happening. So when we mix red and blue, we're going to get a purple. Now this purple, it looks kind of deep and dark. It's not very bright and fun like this. So all we're going to do is we're going to pick up a little bit of white, and we're going to turn this purple from a purple into a violet. All right, so by adding a little bit of white to that, we start getting that purple that we're more familiar with, because most purples are actually a tint of purple that we see, because real purple actually is very dark and almost brown looking in itself. All right, so I'm just going to keep kind of mixing a little bit more blue in here, and you can really decide what tone of purple that you want there. So I've got this kind of more of a blue. I'm kind of more on a blue side for that purple. But if you want more of like a magenta, you know, just add a little bit more red. Okay, so now I've got my red, my purple, my yellow, my blue, my black, and my white. Again, if you guys wanted to make any additional colors, if you mix yellow and red together, you're going to get orange, right? And if you mix blue and yellow together, you're going to get green. All right, so we can make all the colors in the world with this palette here. So, looks like everyone's getting logged in. Yay! I'm so happy. Again, I am very, very sorry for the confusion with YouTube this morning. I am like a little bit behind on the times. I got to get caught up on that YouTube stuff. If you guys have any tips out there, please, I'd love to hear them. We're going to go ahead and, do you guys have any questions before I get started? Anybody out there? And I know the comments have been a bit delayed. I think just with everything going on, probably a lot of people are streaming right now, so it's kind of giving me a bit of a delay here. So if you do send a comment and I don't respond, just know it probably is going to come after for some reason. That's what's been happening, but some of them do come through, so don't be scared. I super, super appreciated all the pictures that we got. That was very, very cool. So if you guys are doing your paintings and you make a little bit of progress and you want to share it and you have any questions, please do post. I'm very, very excited to see them. So let's go ahead and get started here. I don't see any questions, so I'm hoping we're okay. All right, so I'm going to actually only use 2 brushes today. So I'm going to use a big brush, about this size. This is about 1 inch. You can use a 1/2 inch or 1 inch, would be totally fine. And then I also have a small brush that I'm going to use. But the thing about the small brush is I'm going to use the back of the brush because we want to get these circular stars that we see over here to look very cohesive. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and grab our big brush. All right, and we're going to pick up some paint. Now, acrylic and water are like best of friends, so don't be afraid to add a bit of water to your paint. It'll just kind of loosen it up and break it up a bit. You'll get a lot more longevity with that paint. All right. And we're just going to start in kind of the outer area here. Actually, let's just keep this real simple. Go ahead and just fill that whole canvas up with black. Okay, so we're going to have a nice black base to start with. When I'm doing a lot of surface area like this, I always like to keep everything in one direction. So just ignore my first streak there. Starting off the canvas, going all the way across and ending off the canvas. All right, and that'll make sure that all of our lines are nice and cohesive. All right, because when this actually dries, we'll be able to see all these paint streaks in the paint. So we're going to want to avoid that. All right, we're just going to fill this whole thing up. Hope you guys are having okay connectivity out there. I see it shows like 15 watching to 2 watching to 1 watching to 10 again. Sorry, there's some connectivity issues. I know I've been having tons of issues this morning. Not sure what's going on there. But what we are going to do is all these videos, once they're done, it takes about an hour for them to process. We'll load them onto our page, and then I'm going to go through and load all the ones on YouTube too. So just in case you guys want to watch them on your TV, I know it's a little bit more difficult to live stream or to do a stream from Facebook Live. And I believe the videos are all downloadable too. So nice to have something to keep the kids busy. My little guys are painting up a storm. So just so you guys know, all of our live events, we've actually went ahead and we're going to cancel them up until April. But this Saturday, we had one that we're doing at Francesca's called Heartstrings. It's the guitar one. We're just going to do that one live online for free and refund everybody's ticket money so that you guys can have something to do, keep you busy. So just keep that in mind if you guys want to join in on Saturday night. We'll play some music and it'll be kind of for all ages. It was originally going to be a 18 and older party. So the painting is a little bit more advanced. So if you're wanting to challenge yourself, you can log in with us Saturday night. And that should be a lot of fun. And tomorrow we aren't going to be streaming a video, but we will be doing it on Friday and next week. Tomorrow's my birthday, so we got plans. Well, indoor plans, unfortunately. All right, so I'm adding a little bit more black to my palette here. Now just remember, adding a bit of white step paint will really, really break that paint up and make it a lot easier to go on there quickly. I'm going to go down here so you guys can see I'm not blacking it. Now, as I look at this canvas, I can see up here it's very, very thick. I'm going to actually just pick up some water, all right, and just painting with some direct water. And what that's going to do is it's going to actually take a little bit of the paint that I have up here, and it's going to blend it out a bit more, and it's going to help me to bring some of that paint down here. And also, when you add water, it helps the paint to dry a lot faster, so we don't have to wait a super, super long time before we do the next step. All right, so let's go ahead and get this on here. Now, keep in mind that acrylic paint, it dries in about 3 minutes as long as you don't let it on too thick. Which is great because you're a lazy painter like me and you don't want to have to take 3 weeks to do a painting. It's your friend who drives fast, you do the next steps. When you're working in oil, oil paint actually almost never ever dries out. Like there's always just a little bit of moisture. So when you're working with oil, once you do your background, you have to wait like a week before it's not so wet that it's going to move around when you layer up on that next step. So that's why oil paintings are so much more expensive, because not only is the oil paint expensive in itself, the process takes forever. You can't just do a painting in an hour like you can with acrylic. So I prefer acrylic. All right, so I'm just going back through here and I'm starting off the canvas, ending off the canvas. I just have a little bit of water on my brush. And what this is doing is just evening out all the paint so that I don't have any really thick areas and really thin areas. And that also helped me to have no weird streaks through it. So if you were to paint like this and then like this, you'd actually see those streaks when it goes to dry. So it's nice to have it nice and clean lines here. And again, this kind of gets out any of those really thick areas so it doesn't take forever to dry and instruct your next color. All right, so now we got a nice big night sky. You can walk away from it now and call it minimalism. But we're not going to do that. We're going to keep going, add some beautiful things here, some fun colors and textures. The next step that we're going to do, we're actually going to do with a paper towel. So go ahead and grab a paper towel. You're going to wrinkle it all up because you want to get that texture. So see all these little folds in the paper and stuff? That texture is going to give us what we want here. So we can see, if we look really close at this one, you can see there's a lot of different textures kind of happening in here. This is our superpower. All right, so we want that to set for just a minute. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. One way to get this to set a little bit quicker is you can grab a paper plane, or if you got a fancy fan, that's even better. But you can go ahead and just fan that painting. Help it so that it sets. Just be nice and dry so it doesn't pick up our nice color, especially when you're working with black. A color like black will obstruct any other color that it touches because it is just such a powerful, deep, dark color. The only reason why I like to water down black just a bit. All right. So while that's setting, I'm going to put on some tunes. You guys don't have to listen to me breathing. And again, please let me know if you guys have questions. Ask away. I'm happy to help. I know there's probably not a lot of questions when you're dealing with a plain black canvas here, but you never know. All right. Okay, you guys all good out there? Looking at my canvas, and it's still a little bit wet. So if you guys, moving forward, we're not going to have any breaks. We're just going to kind of power through it. So right now, if you guys need to take a little break and stretch and use the bathroom really quickly, I'm going to play through this whole song here. Just keep in mind it's going to be silented out once this video loads because copyright. So but we'll chill out with it on the live session. And again, please ask questions, even if it's not related to this particular thing. That's what I'm here for. I just want to be live for you guys. And if you guys want to use this time too to make your color that you want to use on the Galaxy, you don't have to use the ones I'm using here. I had some students actually do some neat neon creams by adding some yellow, blue, and white together. Have fun with it. Make this Galaxy totally your own. You can use this time to make some colors that you want to use. Cool. I'm just gonna fan this. Move on here in a second. It's not wanting to dry. It's so cold outside. It's like, I have a hair dryer that I can use on this if it takes too long. Let's see, I think by the end of the song we should be good. Okay. Alrighty, so how you guys looking out there? Feel nice and dry? You guys ready for this next step? Yeah, I'm hoping so. We're gonna go ahead and move on. So again, we're going to take that paper towel that we have and we're just going to wrinkle it all up. So we got a nice messy paper towel here. And I'm going to recommend starting with your darkest color. So we're going to start on the outside here. And then as we kind of go towards the middle, we'll start implementing those lighter colors. And the reason why is it's going to give us a little bit longer for that to dry. So I'm going to start with blue. All right, and if you want, you can even dip it in a little bit of white too. So I'm going to get my paper towel. All right, and we're going to basically paint with a paper towel here, which is great, right? If you don't have paintbrushes. So I'm going to just pick up some blue, and I'm actually going to dip it in a little bit of the white here. So I have kind of like this blue and white mix. All right, and I'm going to start on the outside edges here, kind of all around here. And what I'm going to be doing is kind of working my way into spiral. So we're starting, from this side, starting right here. And I'm just going to kind of start stamping this into a spiral shape. And you can see my black is a little bit wet still, but I'm going to use that to my advantage. And I'm just going to keep on stamping, even though there's no more paint on my brush. And that way I can kind of start seeing the shape that I want. I'm going to have this big spiral eventually. All right, and when you're stamping this color on, don't worry if it picks up the black, that'll help it to blend in a little bit more cohesively. By now, the black should be dry enough that it's not going to lift all the black off the canvas and leave you with nothing. All right, so I'm just going to keep on dipping that into my blue and to my white, and then just focusing on these outer areas, and I'm just stamping away. All right. All right, and you can kind of stamp and press and turn too if you haven't had time getting that on there. One of my blues, my blue is getting a little bit lost in this black. So my next one, I'm just going to actually pick up just blue here. So I've got tons of blue on here. And I'm going to go right over the top of those ones that I just did. And just stamp it in here. Now, when you're doing your purple section, and I'm still doing blue now, but just kind of as it comes, when you're doing your purple section, you can do one of two things. So you can either go ahead and pre-mix that purple like we showed at the beginning, or if you want, you can start picking up a little bit of red on here and then stamping through the blue area, and it will pick up some of that blue and the red and will actually mix that color right on the canvas for you. So I'm going to change my paper towel. I'm a little bit dirty. Remember, we're just going to take this, I'm going to wrinkle it all up so it's nice and wrinkly, and so I'll get a nice texture. All right, and I'm just going to dip in the blue again, and I'm going to dip in a little bit of red. So I'll show you what I mean by mixing it right on the canvas. Ooh, maybe even a little bit of white. So here's my paper towel. It's all colorful. It's got blue, white, and red on it. But watch what happens when I actually apply it to the canvas. I just kind of twist and press. I'm just going to start bringing this all around. As I go to twist and press, this red is going to start blending into this blue and the white. It's going to start looking a little bit purple here, which is what we're going for. Oops, my canvas is a little bit wet still. So I'm just going to actually kind of texturize all this down here on down here. And start seeing that kind of coming through. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we can start to see that shape starting to come through. And we're just going to keep working this spiral. So if you guys want to jump ahead, if you're getting the idea here, we're going to basically kind of go through the rainbow as we stamp on here. So starting with the blue, right? Starting to add a little bit of red into there. So we have a blue to a purple. And then I'm actually going to do a little bit of yellow. So you might get a little bit of orange coming through when the red and the yellow hit. But we'll do the yellow once it sets a little bit, because the one thing we want to avoid is that purple and that yellow overlapping each other and creating a brown. We don't really want a brown galaxy. I mean, I don't think so. I don't imagine that being the most beautiful galaxy we could make today. All right, so I'm going to pick up some of that pre-made purple and just stamp that directly on here. Oh, I accidentally picked up a little bit of yellow. That's okay. I'm just going to blend it out. Exactly what I was trying to avoid here. But that's okay. All right. Get up a little bit more of this blue and red and white for that violet color. And just keep stamping away into that spiral. And as this black dries a little bit more, these colors are going to stand out against it a lot more. But it's good that we have a little bit of wetness still on this canvas because these colors will blend in and it will give us that deeper shade that we're looking for. So that when we actually add those other lighter shades on there, they won't look so stark. It will kind of look like it's a nice blend and it'll look very, very natural. So that's what we're going for. So don't worry if some of your black is getting picked up. It's actually a good thing because, again, that's going to give us a darker shade of that particular color. All right. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to add a little bit of blue up here. Now that it's starting to dry, the blue is going to stand out a lot more, which is awesome. Some of that blue into the purple. You guys can kind of start seeing this galaxy reveal itself. Get some more blue in here. Get a little bit up there. All right, so you can kind of see there on the screen, it's starting to look kind of pretty dark still though. So we're going to keep working here. I'm just kind of folding my napkin and trying to conserve napkins here. So I got a fresh little spot here and I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow. Now with the yellow, I'm going to start from the center and start stamping it outwards because I don't want to pick up the color. If I start on the outskirts and then I start moving towards the center, the color is going to pick up on the background and it's going to actually look lighter on the outskirts. Now we want it to look like at the very center of this galaxy, it's just big bright light coming out of there. Like maybe it's, you know, an explosion or some sort, right? So we want the lightest tones of this color to actually be towards the center. So I'm going to stamp right in the center here with the yellow. All right, and then I'm going to start bringing that out into these other colors. All right, and you see as I start going out, it's going to kind of start blending in with those other colors a bit. And that's what we want. Just a little bit of it to kind of show through. I'm just going to keep stamping on that yellow to texturize it. And alright, so I've got this kind of bright light starting to come out here. It's exciting. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. And just what I did with the yellow, I'm going to do some pure white. All right, and I'm going to start in the center. I'm going to start stamping it out. And I'm going to continue to stamp it out all the way along the entire galaxy. So I'm going to start, you can see a big dot right there in the middle, right? And then I'm just going to kind of start stamping it out. But I'm not going to stamp it out like every single section. I'm just going to kind of spread this out a bit. And it's going to look a bit weird at first, but we're going to just blend that out. And this will just kind of give us some highlights along the galaxy string here. So blend that out a bit into the blue. All right, so it looks like that. You know, I'm sure your fingers are looking a little bit messy. That's what it's all about, right? Cool thing about acrylics is totally non-toxic. I mean, it might get your nails if you got fancy nails, so be careful. Alright, so I'm just continuing to blend this out. You start to see it looking like a galaxy. Woohoo! Alright, and as long as you just kind of stay in this sort of spirally pattern here, we'll get a nice base. Just kind of keep adding colors where it seems a little bit too dark. All right, start to see this galaxy being revealed. So I'm going to pick up some more blue. I'm going to actually add some blue down here in this kind of sad dark area. And again, in the shape of the spiral here, so kind of like on the outer skirts. At the end, I'll try to pull up a picture of some students led to the galaxy. This particular galaxy in the past was really, really cool. Or maybe while we let this set a little bit. I'm going to let that paint dry for just a second. I'll put on some tunes and I'll try to pull up a picture to share with you guys of some really awesome little talented kids that did the galaxy recently and looked really, really, really cool. And the reason why I want to show you guys is because every single one of their galaxies, they looked so different and they were so unique. We'll put on some super positive vibes. We wait for this to set for just a minute. Wait for you guys to catch up if you're still working on this step.
Here's a little song I wrote. I want to sing it note for note, don't worry. Be happy. Every night we have some trouble. When you worry, you make it down.
Can you see these kids? And you can see them on my Facebook page. Aren't they cool? So they're all very, very different. This is my album if you guys want to check it out, but it's always really impressed with those kids' results. They're very cool. Okay, so I'm going to pick up another paper towel and I'm just going to keep adding colors here, okay? Pick up some white again. I just kind of went in the middle and just turned had the white and just dotted it and turned it. And it kind of gave me this cool little circle that we kind of see going on right here too. So just taking that white, putting it right in the middle, and then just turning your whole paper towel. And I'll show you the texture by close up so you guys can see. I just want to kind of get some more of this color coming through.
Don't worry. Don't worry, be happy.
Do a couple more dots of yellow in here. Bring out this yellow. Yes, so we got this cool galaxy starting to come out here. Right. Cool colors going on. And if you guys want, please post pictures as you guys are coming along, because it's a little awkward sometimes just talking to, I don't know who's out there, but hope you guys are following along. It truly is my favorite part of teaching these lives. I just love seeing what people come up with, and it makes it really, really interesting and fun. So please do share, and please ask questions. That's what I'm here for. Don't be shy. stream in there. All right, so if you would like, if you feel like it's still really, really, really dark, you can continue to add some color into here as you go. But just keep in mind that once you do this next step I'm about to show you, it's very much difficult to go back and add colors in there. It's just gonna, you'll be able to see kind of where that happened, because we're gonna do a final layer of some stars. I'm going to actually show you guys an additional effect that we don't see here. It's called the splatter effect. But I think the splatter effect works really, really fun. And it would look really cool on this particular type of artwork. So I'll show you guys what it looks like. And keep in mind, it's going to be, we don't actually see the splatter effect taking place on this one. But you guys can decide. So you can look at the two and compare and see, hey, is that what I want with my piece? Or if you want to just blindly follow me, you can. We'll just go for it. So I'm going to splatter some colors onto here to give it a little bit more, some highlights, give it a little bit more life. If we look here, maybe there was actually some splattering going on this one that I look at it. These dots that we see are mainly white, but there's also some yellow. So I'm going to start with the yellow because I want to save the white highlights for the very, very last when everything has set and dried. So that way the white, it really, really stands out and gives it that extra element of sparkle. All right, so I'm going to take my brush. This stuff is really fun, but keep in mind it's very messy when I do these at live events. It always gets a little crazy if someone's like, we have the table where someone's sitting here and someone's sitting here, they start spraying, they'll get each other. So if you're set up like that, you know, make sure there's no one across from you, unless they don't mind getting covered in paint. So just be careful. There's a couple ways to hold your brush. Now my hands are a mess, so excuse me there, that's from the sponging. I'm thinking you guys probably have pretty messy hands out there too, so I'm hoping I'm not the only one. So I'm picking up a little bit of water on my brush, but not too much. So I dipped it in there and then I kind of just got off the excess. I spread out these bristles a little bit and I'm just going to dip them directly into the yellow. Now I'm not getting a lot of yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm dipping it into the yellow like this, and then I'm just kind of off to the side making a couple of little spots just so that there's not some huge clumps in there. And then you can hold the brushes a couple of different ways. So you can hold it like a thumbs up. You got the brush in there and you're like, thumbs up, right? And then you basically just want to take your thumb. Now, a very common thing that people do with the splatter effect is they'll pull the bristles back really, really far like that, and they'll try to fling it. And what it's going to do is it's going to take all that, you know, moisture or liquid on the top here and still fling it all at once. What we want to do is we want to just barely graze the bristles like this, right? And we want to get really, really close to the canvas. Now, when we're barely grazing those bristles, we want to do it very fast, so that way they'll fling from the brush. So since I've kind of worked with these bristles a little bit, I'm going to actually pick up a little bit more water, a little bit more yellow. All right. And I'm just kind of stamping it off to the side so that there's not too much liquid on there. And then I'm going to get really close to the canvas. Now make sure you get really close, because if you get too far, the moisture from the paint is going to actually travel and it's going to start to fall, and then you'll get these weird dripping effects happening. But if you get nice and close, it'll stick. All right, so I'm just basically just flinging this paint, pulling this brush bristles back, and flinging this paint. Now, I've done this a million times, so I understand how much pressure to apply, but if you've never done this effect before, I recommend practicing on your palette so you know how much pressure to apply and how far to pull back those bristles so that you can get the effect that you need here. All right, so I'm just kind of going all over the place, sprinkling some of this yellow on here, so I got a nice yellow base, especially focusing in the middle. Okay, now I got all these spots on there. I'll bring it closer so you guys can see here. So we got all these speckles kind of happening here. Ooh, it's hard because of the light, but there you go. You can kind of see. Right. I'm going to wash my towel here. Get all this yellow paint off my fingers, because when I do the white, I don't want there to be any yellow left on my hands that are going to fling off onto the canvas here. All right, so I'm going to rinse my brush really, really good. because we're going to use white next. So white's the lightest color. Every other color will basically take that color over. So you want to make sure that your brush is nice and clean so you can get that pure white out of your color. I'm going to go ahead and dip this in the white. Okay, same as before. I'm going to use that thumbs up. Some people that struggle with the thumbs up sort of thing, you can use 2 fingers and you can pull it this way and it will fling. You just got to do what is comfortable for you. Some people that don't want to get dirty at all, they'll take another brush and they'll go like this and they'll use it as a base and they'll tap it like this. Now what happens with that is when you're tapping it, it's very hard to control, so you're more likely to get those splats like of a bunch of paint rather than just the little teeny dots that we're wanting to get from this effect. All right, so I'm going to do some white, and let's see, I got a big streak there. That's okay. The galaxy is supposed to be interesting. I'm mostly focusing on the center here. I'm just kind of loading this up with tons of white splatters. And then I'm going to start bringing it out a bit to the outer edges. Don't be afraid to have it look very sporadic. Okay, so I've got this cool splattering effect happening here. All right, as I'm looking at it, it looks a little bit like sparse in this area. It's dark, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this. I'm going to re-splatter it. So if you had kind of an explosion happen like me, you can just kind of go through. I actually want to blend out a little bit of white in this area too because it's so dark down here. So I'm just going to stamp a couple of on there. Now, because I already did the splatter effect and I'm doing this after the fact, I'm going to have to go back over with the yellow in this area and the white just to kind of bring it back. But I'm going to give it a little bit more of a light kind of coming through. Let's open that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to splatter a little bit more yellow and white over in that area. And this is all you're going to do if you want to fix an area. I kind of wanted to show you guys, if you did a section that splattered really bad and had a big streak. That happens a lot. When you're first doing this, streaks are very, very common until you kind of get the right flick of the wrist. Even when you've done this a million times, you're going to tend to get some streaks. It's kind of hard stuff to control. I'm bringing that back through. White. Got a little streak, that's okay. Actually, it's kind of cool. Now, feel free you can splatter other colors on here too. If you wanted to really, really get fun with it, I'm going to pick up some purple. Yellow on there first. Brown splatters. So, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that purple. I'm actually going to splatter some purple in this area. Have fun. Now remember, this one here that we're seeing here doesn't really have much of a splatter effect. I think the splatter effect is fun. But again, it's totally optional. You guys don't want to get too messy. I just get a little purple splatter on there. Ooh, it's getting fun looking. All right. And then we're going to add some stars. So, I'm going to make sure I'm calling this came through because I'm not seeing them on the screen here. Okay. So if you guys are leaving comments, I'm so sorry I'm not seeing them. This happened the first day too. It was weird. It was like an hour after the video. I saw all the comments pop up after the fact. So there might be some issues with streaming, which is understandable. The world's kind of crazy right now. Not too bad. I think there's just a lot of people probably streaming right now because they're hanging out at home with their families. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more white on my paper towel. When I look at this one, it has a very bright light that comes from the center. I lost that just a little bit, so I'm picking up some white and I'm dotting it in the center. And I'm doing the same thing that I did before where I'm dotting it and I'm twisting it. All right, so I've got this kind of dot that really stands out right there in the center. All right. That kind of gives it that neat light. If you want to dot a little bit of yellow around it, you can to kind of give it a little highlight. I lost a bit of my yellow. There you go. A little bit more. Sorry if I didn't warn you about how messy this painting is. Doing all the messiest steps, painting with paper towels and splattering paint. But more fun when it's messy. All right, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to take our small brush. All right. Now this is a great trick. I highly recommend always doing this when you're doing stars, or if you have to do small dots of any kind, because it just controls the shape and the size of all your stars. So you want to make sure that all your stars are the same size, that they look like stars, and they don't look like little splats on the page, right? So when we use the back of the brush, literally going to take that end of the brush here, dip it directly into the paint. All right, and then just start dotting all over. And then we'll get some bigger stars. Now, if you have different size brushes with different ends on your brushes, feel free to do this with tons of different sizes. All right. Have fun with it. All right, get started away. I'm going to put out some tunes here. Okay. Got some island tunes, you know? Vibes, positive. Okay, just keep going. This pattern is really popular right now too, like the galaxy pattern. So if you guys wanted to do this on a bag or on anything, you know, it would look pretty cool. I'm going to change brushes. So I got the big brush now, so I'm going to have big dots now. I'm only going to do a couple of these big dots. They're very, very visible. Big one in the middle again. We want that middle part to shine. Alright. Alright, keep that away there. Please, if you guys have any questions, awesome. Thank you. I can't wait to play with you too. I'm going to let you guys do this dots, ask questions. I'm actually going to step out for 2 seconds and grab Saturday night's painting so that you guys can see what it looks like. So hold on. Let's just start outside. All right, so this is the painting that we're going to be doing on Saturday. It's called Heartstrings. All right, so it's a little bit more advanced. So again, this is going to be a 18 and older class that we were going to host this Saturday. So if you guys purchased a ticket, don't worry, we're getting a refund, and I'm going to be doing it live for free, so that way you guys can still paint from the safety of your home, and you know, we can all just kind of work together to get through this. On Friday, we'll be painting the jar here. This is originally designed as a kids class, so it looks pretty advanced, but it's actually quite simple. We're going to use our hands width for the jars, break everything down into simple steps, so it will be fun for everybody. If you guys have finished up with your stars, the final thing to do with this painting is to sign it. Depending on how long you waited for that black to set is going to be kind of really determinant on how bright your galaxy is. So this one, I think I had tons of time. So we let for that to sit. The colors came out a little bit brighter. This one is a nice kind of deep, dark galaxy with dark purples and blues. But either one is awesome, right? So it's just kind of, this painting kind of reveals itself to you because of the style that it is. We do a lot of steps that are not fully controllable, right? So it's kind of cool to see what happens. So I'll bring this a little bit closer up so you guys can see. The final step on this is to make sure that you guys sign your canvas, because otherwise someone's going to come around, they're going to want to take that thing, because I am sure it is awesome. So don't let anybody else claim your art. If you have horrible handwriting like me and you're afraid that your signature will literally destroy your painting, you can sign it on the outer edges. I always sign mine on the outer edges. Actually, I have a horrible habit of not signing my paintings at all. I always, when I saw the paintings, people are always like, what is up with this? Why is there not a signature? A lot of it has to do with working for a commercial company for so long. And hundreds of paintings, and I wasn't allowed to sign any of them. So I kind of got in that habit of doing that. But you make sure you sign those because it's the final step that, you know, finishes it all. If you guys have any questions, I'm just kind of staying logged on for a little bit longer so that I can ask or answer any questions that you have. And please post your pictures. If you guys followed along today, I would love to see your galaxies. It's been so exciting for me and my family to see what you guys are creating out there. 100% such a joy. It makes all of this completely worth it. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Tomorrow, we may or may not be having a class. It's a little bit up in the air. It's my birthday tomorrow, so the boys have something planned, but we're going to try to log in for a little bit. We might do a small painting. So keep your eyes open for Eventbrite, and we'll post something on there and do something very simple. We'll also, next week, I'm going to try to do some clay projects. Maybe a little bit of horticulture. While my students are off, they're wanting us to start to build some sort of curriculum. And at the high school, I actually teach horticulture and art. And we do a lot of ceramics. So I'm going to do some basic pinch pot classes, and then we'll go ahead and learn about seeds and how to plant them. And I'll try to post this stream to Painter Soiree as well, so you guys have access to them. But we're going to keep it a little bit separate. So I'll share that out. If you guys are at home, you're trying to keep your kids busy, if you're homeschooled, anything like that, we're going to try to put a lot of resources out there for you guys and help the best way that we can during this. So just, you know, keep your eyes open. I'll try to share it out to everyone. And then for sure, we'll see you on Friday, and definitely Saturday night. The cool thing about Facebook is they have these really cool watch parties. So if you guys are joining us for Saturday, you can go ahead and share this out as a watch party with your friends. And even though we can't all hang out with each other right now, you know, we can digitally. We can pretend we're near each other, right? But you guys stay safe out there and stay busy, and, you know, just enjoy this time. You know, it's crazy, but it's a really beautiful thing that we all get to be home with our families and, reconnect and reassess what we got going on. So it's, a beautiful thing, as much as it is, just a lot. So you guys stay safe out there. And again, I really appreciate you tuning in. Please, again, if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and email us. We'll be checking the Facebook, especially over the next couple of hours. I'll just keep checking online if you guys got late to this video and you have any questions along the way. But again, please send me your pictures. If you guys did this with us, I love seeing those pictures, so do send them. Again, it was wonderful to see y'all, and maybe tomorrow, we're pushing for one tomorrow, and I'm sorry, it's kind of up in the air on that one, but for definitely Friday at 12 p.m. and Saturday, we're going to be doing that one at 6:30, just like it was scheduled as a live class. So those of you, if you are logging in and you did buy a ticket for our face-to-face class on Saturday, we'll be sending out the refunds today, and there'll be a link so that you can still join us for free. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day, and I appreciate you again logging in.